Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Leela from Miss Leela Pink Journey, where I am going to show you my process that I use when I am preparing to print for sublimation. I will hope that you will subscribe to my channel, and if you like the video, please take a moment to click the like button. Feel free to leave a comment, or you may also contact me via Instagram or Facebook. So how I start off is I open Silhouette Studio. I have Business Edition, but this can also be done in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Publisher, Affinity Design, of course Photoshop, which I have no clue how to use, but this is what I use. So I will start off by opening up Silhouette Studio page, and I'm going to wipe this page clean. This is something I was working on before. So I have saved this as a Silhouette Studio project. I'm using the business edition of Silhouette Studio. It's well worth the cost because you can do a lot of things with it, and I would love to give quality items when I'm giving out gifts, and if I have a customer that wants something. I prefer to use Silhouette Studio or one of the other programs to give a good product. So I'm going to show you how I would use a face mask pattern, because that's what I'm mostly working with these past couple of months. So here's a face mask pattern from my files. I'm going to drag it into this Silhouette Studio page, and this is a PNG file that I've just, there's a couple different ways to get a file into Silhouette Studio. For me, I just open up my actual file folder and I drag it over from the file folder. There's a lot of videos out to show you a different way to do that. So the lines are pretty light on this file. You can highlight the actual PNG, and then you can go up to the fill lines and you can change the line color. Here I've changed it to black and you can see it better. If I wanted, I could go over to the line style panel and I can make it thicker so that I can see it even better. Once you are printing this actual pattern, and most patterns that you see someone share with you for sewing, they will show you the inch mark. So this box I typed here, it's a 1-inch box when printed. That's what I have on the pattern. And for Silhouette Studio, each one of these boxes are an inch, so you'll know whether or not you have an inch while looking on the screen, or of course when you print this, you want to make sure that that inch matches up so that you'll know you printed the correct size. I'm going to click my right click button to ungroup, or I can go to Object and I can ungroup here, or as you can see, the shortcut is Control-Shift-G to ungroup. So I'm just ungrouping this because I want to remove this logo. Going to highlight it and delete it. This inch box, I'm moving it around because I want to make sure it shows an inch. The box shows exactly an inch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's an inch. And that lets me know when I'm working with this actual template or pattern that it will be the exact size I need when I'm ready to sew this mask, the face mask. I'm going to delete that box now, and I can go over to my designs, go over to one of my designs, and I can just drag one over. Here is a digital print. Okay, so if it doesn't work, it may not be in the PNG format I need it in. It may not be in the format I need it in. So I don't fret. I just delete that and I find one that's right. I have that in a bunch of different formats. Let's take this Hollywood type. So here's one that's in the correct format for me to use. Some people get frustrated and say it didn't work. Well, you just have to make sure it's in the right format. I am not well versed on how to name the different formats. I just know you can get a PNG, a JPEG, or an SVG and work with those, but there's plenty others. And as I said, I don't fret. I just keep trying until I get the one that can work for me. And I try to figure out which ones do work and don't work. So now that I've drug this pattern, or it's a digital paper, over into this pattern or template for the face mask, I can go over to this on the right hand side, the open fill panel, click on that, can go to where the little dots are to the fill pattern. At the top here, there are a bunch of standard patterns that Silhouette Studio has automatically placed in here. But further down, I have a bunch of patterns that I already have added in here. I had a few pictures in here of folks who wanted something on a mask or some other item that I may have been making, a mug or something like that, but I removed those. I've since removed those. You can take any of the fill patterns from Silhouette or wherever you got them from, and you can just, as you have your pattern highlighted, if you click on one of the fills, it will change the pattern. And you can go down to advanced options to scale it and move it around to how you want it. In or out, scale it. You can also take the angle button to change the angle of it if you don't like the way it's showing on the screen. It shows better with, let me add a flower in there. So let's say I scale this flower. I wanted it bigger, or I wanted to show more of the flowers. You can just bring it down and show more flowers. And this would be a pattern for a face mask. And I'm going to go back to the pattern I put in to begin with to show you what I can do with that one. Drag it back in, and you take the scale item and you can scale it up and down so it can look like it looked to begin with. You can scale it, or you can change the angle. If I wanted those chairs and stars to go in a different angle, you can move them slowly or fast. And I'm going to put it back to where it was with the, put it back on 0. So this is the way it was, and it's a nice little scene. So what if I wanted to say, put a word on there? I go over to the text panel and I will type flash, and I'm going to highlight that. And over here in the open text panel, you can change the font to whichever font you want to have. And I purchased a lot of fonts. Some are expensive and some are less expensive, but again, they're worth it when you want to give a quality product. So I'm going to grab this Novilla Pro Small Cap font, and I'm going to, it's already highlighted, I'm going to change the color to, let me just change the white so that we can see it. Up at the top here, you can change the colors using this box to whatever color you want, or you can use this microphone. I don't know the name of it, but I'm going to use a microphone. I can go anywhere on the screen to grab a color. Let's say I want to use this gold and change it to that. Now that gold color is there, I can change the line of it to match that gold color, and then I'm just clicking off of it and go back where the hand can grab it, and I can move it up on the screen. Now it has that color, and while it's there on the screen, just have to grab it, and I can make it larger or smaller or whatever I want to do. Move it around on there, and that's how you make that. And if I wanted to, I'm gonna make it a little smaller. If I'm ready to print it like that with flash, make sure it's within the print, make sure it's within the pattern. You can highlight the entire pattern or template, group it. I'm using the right click mouse, I grouped it, and then I can go up to the print and print it, and it'll print out just like this. I'm going to wipe that out by clicking delete, and I'm going to try another pattern. There are some other patterns for face mask. There's a gazillion patterns for face mask all over the web. One that I like was, let me go find that folder. Well, there's a bunch that I like. So let me try, here's one by Nicole Herrick. So if I had this pattern that comes out like this, it didn't have that red outline. I think I may have put that on there, but let's say it came out sideways. You go up to your object and then you can rotate it by however many degrees you want. So I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. Of course, it's upside down. So you can keep rotating until it gets to where you want, or you can click the mirror and flip it. You flip it until you get it right. Flip it. Let me flip it back to where it was, and I'm just going to rotate it. I could have rotated 180 degrees, I would have had it, but so that's the long way around it. So right though, so we know that's the one pattern. You can click, you can use object, or you can also use your right click mouse. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to, now I want to flip it, no, that's not what I want. So I'm going to undo it here. I just want to make it next to side by side. See what happens if I flip it horizontal. That's what I want. So now I'm just going to move it right alongside of the actual other panel, because I want to be able to see how a face mask would look when I'm ready to put it together for sublimation. Of course, this is different if you're dealing with just printing a pattern with fabric. So I have these two side by side. This is exactly how I would print it for sublimation. I want to grab one of my patterns. Let's see which one I'll grab. So what if I wanted to say girl boss on one side and another girl boss on the other side, right? So I'm just dragging them to each of those blanks. Well, they weren't blank, but you can drag them there as long as they're in the right format. So I'm going to highlight this girl boss, the black one, and I'm going to go over to the fill pattern and down to advanced options again. And I'm going to click on the scale, and I'm going to scale it down a little so that I can see the words. The angle is what's going to change the way it's shown, because of course you don't want someone's face mask to have girl boss going sideways. Well, you might, but you can change this by using the rotate pattern. You can bring this pan pattern button here, will give you this white little button, and you can drag the words across however you want it. What if you just want to say boss show up? You can do that. So you can drag the words around like that, and you can scale it down so that you can see the entire thing when you get ready to make a face mask. And of course, if you have it too close to the edge when you are sewing, you'll sew across the seam. So you got to make sure you have room on both sides for it, for whatever you're doing. You can scale it down a little more and see some of the pretty parts of the page, but of course when you're sewing it, you'll miss out on a lot of this. So you just have to angle it the way you want it. Same thing for this pattern. You can click on the buttons until you get it the way you want. You can change it with the angle, and you just make it do what you want it to do. You can take the scale and scale it down so you can see, most of what's there. And of course you use the flip button to flip it and rotate it to however you want it. Like this right here, we're over here under advanced options, the mirror pattern. You can mirror the pattern, so now you have it going, the girl boss is showing the way you want it to show, and then you can take the angle and you can angle it up like that. You can take the scale and you can scale her out or in. The pan pattern, take the little white button and you can pull it down so you can see more of it. This is not ideal for this actual mask, but I'm just showing you how it works. Let me grab another pattern, another design, sorry, and see how they work. You just have to play with them. For instance, if I took this one by Alicia and drug her over, this is actually in Cricut Cricut Design Space is what it's called. It's one of the patterns. Alicia from one of the groups I'm in, she has patterns, it's crafts of a different shade. Let me make sure I got that right. Hold on a second. As much as I'm in that group, just want to make sure I get it right for you. It's crafts of a different shade. Alicia, the admin, the group owner, she actually has designs in Silhouette, in Cricut's design space. And I love this one. I really love this girl. She has a couple of them in there. So you can take this and you can angle it however you want it, of course. And you can scale it down. You can have more of the girls on the screen if you want. Let me try to angle it a little better. There you go. This will make a really cute face mask. Really cute. Right? And then let's just say you don't want to go through all the trouble of angling it again. You can just hit your right click mouse. You can duplicate. I will move this out the way. You can duplicate it, move it over, and then you can flip it. And now you have her here. And I'm going to show you how to line it up to make sure too. So you have her there, and then of course you want to mirror that image so that it's seen correctly. And I kind of push them together as much as possible. And then I would highlight both of these patterns, because they're two separate patterns. And I would go up to this button and I would align them to the middle so that they would print correctly. Next, I would highlight the entire pattern, these two patterns, and I would group them for printing. Now you see how that moved? You have to do a little something different with that. Let me undo that. I'm going to, what did I do before to make that work? I thought I made it, let me see if I convert it to path, if that would make it work. I convert it to path. I went on object and I convert it to path. And let's see what happens when I highlight it now. Okay, that works. So now this way it doesn't move, and I can't explain to you about that. Sorry, but there's a lot of different YouTube videos to explain that to you. So now I have this one actual template or pattern, and I'm ready to make this face mask. And delete that. Oh, that's so cute. And you just print it and it's ready to go. It takes a little extra work to get these done, but they're worth it. I'm going to ungroup that. And so now they're two separate again. See, I can move it over to the side or move it back over here. And let me try one more pattern, see if it'll work. Sometimes the patterns don't work because they're not formatted the way that you kind of want them to be. I had a couple of other ones that I wanted to try in here. Where did I put them? Let's just say I wanted to have a blank background or just a plain color background. You highlight the one you want, or you can highlight them both. You highlight the one you want, and you can go up here to the color panel and you can change the color. Simple as that. And then if you want to add some words to it, I will go to the text panel and type faith or whatever you want in there. I'll highlight that, and over here in the text style panel, you can change the font to whatever you want. I have a bunch of fonts that I purchased, and so for instance, you can barely see that, right? But I'm going to move it over. What if one thing you can do is you can highlight that actual pattern or template, and you can send it to the back to make sure that you can see your word faith on top. Because if you send it to the front, and sometimes it's already to the front, and you say, what happened to my word? So you just highlight it and you send it to the back. I'm going to highlight this word because I can't see it, and I want to change the color to maybe white, and then I want to change the outline of the color to white as well. And then I'm going to move it over. I can move it over wherever I want. I can take the character spacing and I can space it out wider, or I can space it out real tight. And that is over here under the text style. Line spacing is character spacing, line spacing, character spacing. And if I wanted to make it bigger, I can make it bigger or whatever. So that's how you do that. And I think that's all I need to show you now, but that's just really how you do it. I don't know if I showed you how to print or not. I can't remember now. So let me go back to one more design. Let's say I wanted to add this one in again. You just put it right on top of it. And what if I wanted it to, let me add it over here too. Okay, that looks crazy with one, but you can have, whatever you want on them. So here I'm going to show you that you could up in this open image effects panel over here in the corner, you can click on the colorize and you can change the color of whatever you have. If you're in business edition for silhouette design, you may be able to do it in the regular edition. I'm not sure, the standard edition, but this is what you can do in business edition. You can change the color. And you can also click on contrast and brighten. Let's say you had a design that didn't show so well, so you can brighten it like that. You can just change it and brighten it. You can change the contrast. You can do some other things with the coloring, but there's a lot of videos on that too. See how it stands out a little more? Then you might want to put a word on top or whatever you want to do. Let's say you didn't have a pattern like this. You just had a box and you were doing some of those face covers that you don't have a pattern to, those standard face covers for sublimation. You can draw your box and you can add a color to the box, any color you want. And you can outline the box color. And if you had a pattern you wanted to put in it, you can grab a pattern and let me try one of these. These are digital papers. You can take that digital paper and you can put it in over there. You can take the digital paper and you can put it into one of these actual masks. Now you see how it's all colored up? That's because I messed with it over here. So you have to undo all that or just change it, Let me go and put another one here. So see how that works out. And then you want to go up to the fill pattern and you can scale it. You can actually take that pattern and you can grab that white button and move it all around. You can scale it and make it larger. Once you make it larger, you take the pan pattern again, you can drag it down, and it's kind of pretty. You want to have something dripping like that. Same thing for this. You can take the pan pattern and you can scale it. Or you scale it and take the pan pattern, you can pull it down. And you can also go and change the colors on that. Colorize. If you're trying to match something up perfectly. You can brighten or lighten that also. And one more thing I'm going to show you, and I'll use, most of these are digital papers that I have here. Here's a bling digital paper. The real bling, they call it. I can go back up to the field pattern and scale it out. It's diamonds. And I can change the color on that. Although with this digital paper, most of these digital papers, they come with different colors when you buy them on Etsy or other places. The talented designers, they will, oh, this one didn't color, so I'll take that back on this one. Some of them don't, and it depends on how I saved it also, so you just don't fret. Didn't work, it didn't work. Let's say I wanted to add this Afro Queen design. You drag her over, and you see how, I mean, that's not how you want to print it unless you just want those words. That could be pretty too. That could be really cute. But you can go to your fill pattern again, your fill option, advanced. You can scale it up and down so that you can actually see that queen. You can take the fill pattern, because you know you want to move it around when you get ready to print it, your sublimation print, and sew it. You know you need the seam allowance around it, so you have to make sure you have her small enough where you can see her. And let's say you didn't want it like that. You go up to this box and you click these X's, or whatever you call them, but that clears it out to make it transparent. And then I'll go and get my queen again. I'll take Alicia's girl. It's one of hers. You'd have to remove this box, of course, because I didn't say this as a PNG, but let's just say the white box is not there. And you will have her, and you can just make her larger or smaller to go in the background of your actual mask. You know, send it to the back. Actually, just real quick, I'm going to take those. Let me see if I can trace by color and trace this out. Tracing it. It's the trace box. Over here in the corner, it looks like a little piece of toast to me. And then you just drag that box out. And then you make sure you take your earrings out and any other things around it. You just drag them out. And you make sure you highlight and get rid of them. And then you have a girl to print. And you highlight to print, or however. Like you may not need to print it all together, but I like to print my things together. It makes it so much easier for me. I think that's it. One more time with the, now she's really cute to put on something too. So let's just say I wanted to use her. This is a Feathers of Style from Etsy. Ooh, she's got a lot of designs. This one, I should have showed you where this came from too. This one came from the Gigi shop. Let's say you open up something that comes out this big. You just go up to this box at the top and you just, I always put the lock on so that it doesn't distort my actual image, and I just change it to like 5. And then I can see it all. This is from Gigi shop. This is from Feathers of Style. And I think the queen is from Amira, I believe. But there are different places you can get these things from. Now let's just say I grab that actual face mask pattern. I have another one from Craft Passion. She has nice ones too. A nice face mask pattern. Let me see if I can use this. Sometimes if I don't have the right format like a PNG, then it won't work out. But I think she does. Let's go. No, because I have to get rid of all of that. Anyway, you'd have to work with it to get rid of all that. Go to back to I'll go to mine. And let's just say I wanted to print her. Of course, I need to ungroup and get rid of, I'll move this, get rid of my little boxes. Ungroup again. So let's just say I wanted to print her, and I don't want her to fill the whole page, but I just wanted to print her and add her over to, and put something else on the side. I don't know what it would be, but maybe I even wanted to add this in the background. But whatever I wanted to put, girl boss or something like that on the side, I could do it. You just make sure that you have whatever you're printing should be bigger than the actual template so that it won't go out, so that you don't miss, you don't want to have any space that's missing. You see here all the, this is the template or the pattern. You just want to fill that pattern side up, so I want to have her, this one side of the mask of her, and the other side of the mask is of the Hollywood design. If you want to get all her feet and everything in, you just make her smaller. And then you just highlight the entire piece. You group it together. I use my right click mouse or up there in object. I'm going to delete all of this down here. And then you can just go to, you make sure you have it on your screen, and you go to click print. And then you print it. And this is what it'll print like this. And of course you'd have to cut out, around your design, but you'd have it. So I hope this helps a little bit. I am just no expert on all of this, but this is how I do it. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, click the like button, and please subscribe.